Welcome to the Wayne Public Library's virtual author chat. My guest today is Victoria Jayne. Victoria Jayne is the epitome of a Jersey girl. She doesn't know she doesn't know how to pump her own gas, enjoys pork roll, and grew up on the Jersey Shore. She's lived throughout the state of New Jersey and remains there with her journalist husband and two darling daughters. When not writing, Victoria enjoys baking with her daughters, rooting for the New Jersey Devils, thinking of home improvement projects, and staying up far too late doom scrolling. Welcome, Victoria. Please tell us a little more about yourself and your
Hi.
new novel, Property of Kevlar.
Hi, everyone. So I currently live right outside of Philly, but yeah, I grew up on the shore in Brick, and I went to school up in North Jersey. So I went to school at FDU in Madison, and I also lived in Vineland briefly. So pretty much did the tour, been everywhere, north, south, central. Central does exist, by the way. So Property of Kevlar is so it's my first dipping my toe into the Royal Bastard series. So I already have a Motorcycle Club series, Odin's Fury, but this one's a little bit different. So they do exist in the same world, which I think is really cool. So they other characters may pop up here and there, and there probably will be more crossover because I did just get my rights back to Odin's Fury, so I will be writing in that series as well. So there will be overlap between those, which I think is great. And if you haven't read Property of Kevlar yet, Dixie Mafia is my Mafia series, and the main characters in Property of Kevlar is the brother of the Dixie Mafia lady. So she's the brother of the Queen of Blades. That's pretty cool.
Okay, so I think you've answered one of my questions was how many books do you see yourself writing in the Royal Bastards MC series? And is this series in any way connected to the other MC series you wrote, Odin's Fury MC? So I guess, yes, they are slightly connected, or are they?
They exist in the same world. They know of each other, but they haven't in so far they have not interacted because I'm just so they're in this Royal Bastards, it's a new chapter for them. So it's them starting their club. So they have to one get rid of their competition, which is the Bloody Scorpions, and they've kind of got to set their roots back because while they used to be from Oklahoma City, they had left at the end of Queen of Blades. They had left. So they've been gone for like they've been gone for a while. I want to say it's like 3 years, but it could have been, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've been gone a while. So now they're back. They've got to reestablish roots. They've got to kind of fix some bridges that they've burned. So that's kind of Property of Kevlar is them reestablishing the club and starting up kind of from scratch, but not really because they're familiar with the area. So the Odin's Fury will come in probably later as they grow and as they start expanding and they start, bumping into other clubs and having more little kerfuffles because their original in Queen of Blades, they were a part of a different motorcycle club called the Roughneck Riders, which I use in Odin's Fury as the club that they took over. So they know Odin's Fury, but they're not friendly with Odin's Fury. So they're not going to be, so they'll probably clash in later books. How many books? I have four planned so far, four characters that I know will get their own books. And as the series progresses, they'll get more members, which means there'll be more potential for more books. As they grow, the series will probably grow.
Okay. So then, because there's so much about you being a Jersey girl in your bio, um, not a Jersey.
No, they're in Oklahoma. So,
So,
Royal Bastards is a shared world. So, um, I couldn't pick New Jersey because someone already had New Jersey. Otherwise, I would have. And I picked Oklahoma because that's where I set my Dixie Mafia series, and it helped me use those characters, which I had already established and knew that I would be doing a motorcycle club series on them. So it just kind of lended itself like, oh, Oklahoma's open. I have these dudes that are from Oklahoma. I'll just do it there. Because originally I had planned to do a spin-off of them much later and have them be in New Jersey. But alas, another day, another time, I will have to do a New Jersey biker story or mafia. Who knows?
um, you've written paranormal romance novels about dragons and vampires and witches, and contemporary romances that range from rom-com to grittier and spicier MC and mafia romances. Which do you prefer to write, and do you approach writing each of those subgenres differently?
So, I don't think my process is my process. Like I do the same thing whether I'm writing paranormal versus contemporary, darker versus lighter. So the process of the writing is the same. It's probably more a function of I most likely have undiagnosed ADHD. So whatever my mood is kind of where it's gonna take me in writing. I have so many story ideas that are in my head and like spin-offs of things that I want to write, like some standalones and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, I've read too, like just like a reader, like I've written too much dark. I need a palate cleanser so things don't start just sounding, echoing, and being the same exact phrases and situations and stuff. So that's when I'll kind of like drift off and maybe be like, oh, let's do some fun rom-com, or let's do something like a reverse Pretty Woman type thing. Like, what would that look like? So that's like kind of where my brain goes. I write that stuff down, and when I get a minute, then I'll pop over there to try to figure it out. So I don't think I approach them differently. Um, it's more just like, again, probably undiagnosed ADHD.
Um, do you have a writing routine?
I do. I'm not good at keeping it, but I definitely do. Like I want to, so I do have a day job. I work a 9 to 5 office job that I have to be in the office 3 days a week. And those days I'm much better at keeping my routine than the days that I work from home. But so what I do is I start posting on social media at 8:30 in the morning. I will record everything in the morning, and then right now I have like 30 TikTok drafts just sitting waiting for me to post. And then I'll mix them up so it doesn't look like, I'm wearing the same outfit in 7 posts in a row. So that's another thing that I'm stupid and think of. But anyway, so I'll do all my TikTok recordings. I'll plan my static posts and everything all by 8:30, and then I'll start posting a video on the hour and then a static post a half hour after that, and it goes across all my social medias. By 11:30, I'm done, and then I can focus on my writing. And so my writing will happen like, and I'm doing this like as I'm answering calls at work on emails and stuff like that. So my writing will then be my lunch break. So I'll do that. I'll write on my lunch break. If it's a particularly like naggy thing, I'll try to do that. Like I'll start it on my lunch break and then I'll do it when I get home from work. If I can wrangle the children and get them together, whenever I can squeeze it in, I'm gonna try to hammer around. But yeah, like sometimes I'm better at keeping my schedule than others, but that's pretty much my routine.
Okay. And is there any memorable reader encounter that you can share with us?
So there are two really big ones. I host something called Booze and Books, and we do it either at the Garden State Distillery in Toms River, which is moving to Brick, or we do it at Plagados Winery, which is in Hamilton. I do them 3 times a year. The first one I hosted, someone came from Canada to meet me and attend the event. And it's a free event. It's a small event. It's not like a big thing. I think we had like 4 or 5 authors, counting myself, and it was just so cool that someone came all the way from Canada to just meet me. So that was pretty awesome. Like we had talked on like Discord, and like through like a just a Discord group. So it was awesome to like meet her and just like talk to them about writing and stuff like that. So that was super cool. And then most recently, I attended Electric City last year out by Pittsburgh, and there was a mother and daughter that drove from Michigan to come and meet me. And they bought all of my books ahead of time. So I had both of them. So it was so great to meet them. They're ARC readers for me. I love them dearly. And so I made like special, like my brother does some like laser engraving. So I made them cups so that when they got their pre-orders, they got special cups for me. They made me like little gifts and stuff that I still have, like on my keychain. We went out to dinner afterwards. It was just like these people drove so far, like, oh my, I'm so honored that I have like touched their lives in a way. And it was just so awesome to hang out with them and meet them and everything. So yeah, so those were my two big, reader moments.
Okay. Um, so I like to ask this question of romance authors just because I think it's a topic that all of us who read and write romance contend with in one way or another. So, what do you think is the most misunderstood thing about the romance genre?
I think that people who write other genres think it's easy because it's formulaic, because we always have to have a happily ever after. And just like any other storytelling, there is a formula. Like, this happens and then this happens. Like there's an arc and there's a story arc. Like that's natural. But typically with romance, it's, boy meets girl, boy, charms girl, boy loses girl, and boy reclaims girl. Like that's typically what you see for the people who don't like the third act breakup. People, you work around that, but a lot of people think it's easy because it's romance. Everyone knows what's going to happen. But do you? Like, how do we get there? Like that's the thing. And so I think that there's a lot of nuance and there's a lot of challenge to that because yeah, we all know what's going to happen in the end. But how do we make that new? How do we make that refreshing? How do we keep you turning the page and wondering, are they really going to get together? Or what is getting together going to look like for this couple? Like, again, it could be, boy, boy, girl, boy, 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 girl, 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 girl. Who knows? Like, could be Minotaur and whomever. But like, how do we get there? And that's, I think, what is lost on the people that don't read romance, turn their nose, snub their nose at romance, or just don't understand it, is that it's not always the end that is the surprise, it's the road to get there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like I always mention to people there's romance in everything. That's one of my favorite lines. And why is it that the same books that people are interested that people don't want to are not interested in the romance books, but then they make a series of it and then everyone's watching that series and then everybody's rushing to get the romance books. But before that, they wouldn't have read that. But
Right.
you've got Bridgerton, you've got the the one on the one that just was the campus ones,
The
off
heated
campus,
rivalry is really popular right
heated
now.
rivalries, yeah, all of those. And it's not like okay, so one streamer does it or one network. No,
No.
it's across the board, and we see
Yeah.
the uptick. We see those books fly off the shelf here in the library, and they're being purchased. They've climbed the bestsellers list. All you have to do is make a movie or a TV series out of it.
And I cannot wait for Butcher and Blackbird. These Butcher and Blackbird are lights out. Which one of them, or is it both of them? I know. Like those, I love those. I cannot wait to see how that plays out on the screen. Like I'm so excited.
Both of them, I think, are both being made into series. Actually, I know Butcher and Blackbird. Haven't read the other one on my list, but Butcher and Blackbird, that series. Oh my gosh, that was great. So, yeah.
I went into Butcher and Blackbird so blind. I'm like, oh, I want to do a dark romance, like darker than, MC and Mafia. I wanted to do something, like that. And I was like, okay, like I didn't realize it was going to be a rom-com. So, like when I got it, I'm like,
Oh
what
wait,
is
wait, wait.
this?
Did you just call that a rom com? Oh my
It
goodness,
is. It's a dark rom-com. It
it is, and
is.
that's what it's called now. I was
Yeah.
like dark rom com. Okay, yeah. No, to me, I couldn't explain it to people. I was like, so it's Dexter. It's Dexter with like 50 Shades of Grey. Like you
Right.
mash it and they would just look at their eyes would open like, what are you talking about? And it
Yeah,
is
and like you really pick up on it when they're just reading the trigger warnings. I did it on audio, and they're reading the
me
content
too.
warnings, the trigger warnings, and they're like cannibalism, accidental cannibalism. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I getting myself in? How how do you have accidental cannibalism? And like that
So,
is just that's a hook right there. Like, oh my God, the marketing in that accidental cannibalism immediately. Like what?
yeah, no, yeah, I follow her. But that trigger, I did it on audio too. The trigger, first off, the audios are so great.
I
Um,
love it.
what's his name? I can't. I follow him too on the Irish guy. But yeah, no, those are good. I'm currently reading Tourist Season, so
Oh, good, good.
so yeah, no, Bryn Weaver is definitely on the list. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, no, but again, all this stuff gets done, and that's we've just mentioned a variety from Bridgerton being a historical romance to off-campus series being like what would be called young adult, and heated rivalries, which is man man, like male male.
Hmm.
So like the, it's across all the genres, which is also the thing that romance has. It
Right.
it just doesn't limit. It doesn't matter. So
Because the
yeah.
central thing is love and appreciation and respect and like all that is romance embodies so much. Again, people who don't read it don't understand that. They just think it's either porn or it's just kissing books with Fabio on it. Like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
but no.
And it's also the biggest moneymaker. So
Billions. Billions.
yeah.
And I think there's a
Well,
lot of that to it too, is that like I went to an event at a library and they didn't kind of make like a romance section, this section of that. We were just kind of like spread out, which is fine. Um and I was seated next to a gentleman who wrote those township books, like all the information about the town that you live in, which
mhm.
are great. Like they're awesome and like really informative and cool because I love history. Um, and then there was me with my stickers and all my man chest covers and everything. And someone had like he had a lot more people talking to him, but I had sold more books than him. I didn't make a big deal of that. But he was talking to a lady and she had asked him about how his day was going. And he goes, not as good as some people's. Like it was like a judgment. Like it wasn't like, oh, some people are doing great, you know. It was just like, yeah, like sex sells or something. And I was just like, are you jealous? Like what? And I didn't respond, like, because there's nothing you can do in that moment. It's just like, yeah, sucks to suck, I guess. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow. Yeah,
Right.
no, I've encountered that so many times. I am a big proponent of romance, and I definitely like I've done book festivals, and I'm always they're like the romance panel. Yes, thank you. And
Right.
I'm like um and it's always the same thing. Like if I mention, oh, I'm doing that, and they're oh, like, and I'm like, stop. Just it is so much, and it should, it doesn't need to be disrespected anymore. People have embraced it. They just don't realize it, or they realize it and they ignore that they realize it. So many people come to the library. Oh no, I don't read
Yeah.
that. But you do. You just do.
You do, you just haven't realized yet. And that's fine. That's your journey. But for me, I've also noticed that in the author community, there's like I was saying, there's judgment in the author community, but I have found that romance authors are way more apt to step up and help someone. I feel like our community, and like, maybe it's just the authors I know, I hope it's not, but the authors that I interact with and the authors that I keep in my circle are more apt to be like, help someone that's new and share what's working for them and give the feedback that you need to hear as a new person. Like, hey, your cover isn't really hitting the genre mark, but maybe if you tweak your font a little, or this image or something like that, or have you used this cover, these people, you can use here's a discount code. Like, I feel like the romance author community is an actual community where we understand that other authors are not our competition, they're our allies, and their audience can be my audience because we understand that our readers are ferocious readers. Just
Mhm.
be, I can't put a book out every month. There are authors that can, and awesome. I love them. One of my best friends can do that. That is so great. I wish I had that, time and commitment and that um dedication to be able to writing to be able to do that, but I can't. I have other responsibilities. Her kids are older, mine are younger. Like, I just don't have, there's just not enough hours in the day, and that's fine. But she's putting out a book a month, but her readers in between her books can pop over to my world and they can read mine. My readers, while they're waiting for me, can pop over to her world or another friend's world, or and so like that is just, I think, very ingrained in the romance community. And I think that also with romance, I think we kind of hit the ground running with the indie world. And I think that we learned those ropes a lot sooner than other genres did. So we understand that, I think, more than other genres. And maybe I'm biased because I write in romance, but that's just my experience of the romance world as an author and interacting with other authors.
Um, so fun question. If you could have dinner with one of your characters, who would it be and why?
Oh, I used to say it would be my character Dash, just because he is my favorite character. He is actually based on an actual human that walks this earth. So in theory, I have had dinner with Dash. He just didn't look like my Dash. But now I kind of want Fink because Fink, he's one of my newer characters. He's my contract killing clown. He's more reserved and just like an enigma. And I still haven't figured him out, even though I wrote him. So I'd want to just learn more about him because he is just so with not withdrawn, but like so closed off and not open. So it's like, okay, I want to know more about you because you're kind of cool and you kill people as dressed as a clown. And that's kind of cool. Like, what's up with that?
Oh, I did see that on your
Yeah.
webpage. I did see that cover. A little scary. Um,
That's why I read Butcher and Blackbird and I read Lights Out because I was like, I want to write one of these. And I had seen, so I'm a very visual person. So I had seen something and I was like, oh, a clown, a killer clown. So it was probably around like Halloween when I saw it. And I was like, that would be a cool romance. Let me go to Deposit Photo and find someone because I need to see my characters before I start writing them. So I look for them. Like I'll have an image in my head and I found on Deposit Photo this clown that had blood on his collar. So he was a killer clown. And I'm like, oh, this is my dude. This is my guy. Put all of his images in a folder and I'm like, okay, this is Fink. This is who he is. And like, as I saw him, I did get to learn more about him and he became like a real character to me. So yeah, that's my process with that too.
okay. Okay. So think that would be an interesting, interesting meal. Mhm. So, how do you celebrate when you finish writing a book?
I don't because the first draft for me, like it is the hardest part is getting the first draft out. But I just know that there's so much more to do. So I guess like I'm like, okay, that needs to be put to bed. Let me move on to my next project because in my head I have made all these timelines for myself. So I'm like, okay, I want this has to go here next and then there next and then there next. And then my next project I want out on this day. So I have a spreadsheet that I've planned out books I want to release till 2028. And then I have books that I'm like, I want to write these. I just have to figure out when I can plug them in to like when I'm gonna have a free moment. Because again, I can't put out a book month. Wish I could. Um, so I don't celebrate. I probably should, but I don't because I'm always like, all right, I gotta go on to the next thing so that I can make my readers happy and be productive and give them the next thing. So with Property of Kevlar, I already knew that I wanted to write more. I know who was going to be next. So he's done. I got to finish the next book, which is Under Kids Protection, which is his brother. And I'm like, okay, I need to get that out because I know people want to read that. And if like just I put a mock cover up and there's no blurb. And it's on Amazon and it's linked to it in the book. But before Property of Kevlar was ever published, I had 15 pre-orders on a book that nobody knew anything about. And I was like, oh shit. I need to really like I don't have time to focus because these people want this and I want to make them happy because I'm a people pleaser.
Okay. Okay. Um, that's good. So, um, I'm going to ask a question. It's not one of the ones that I prepared for you,
No,
but is
go
there
for it.
something that you always want to talk about in like in an interview, but never get to?
Um, I don't I don't know because I'm always like trying to figure out like with the author interviews, like I always wonder who's more interested in watching the author interview. Is it the prospective readers or other authors that are aspiring to be authors? Because those are two different audiences to speak to. For prospective readers, it's you know, it's a different thing to talk about. Like, I would say to them, like, hey, like, go to a book event. They're great, especially if they're free. Talk to the authors. You will learn a lot about it. You'll make their day. Like the littlest thing will make an author's day. Like, hey, your cover is nice. Oh, this sticker is cool. What asking questions about our work that could inspire someone to write three more books. Like it's the littlest thing. And I don't know if readers are fully aware of how much power they have over us. And then if it's, focusing on the aspiring author, um, my advice always to somebody who's like, I want to write a book, but I can't, is what's holding you back? Because the hardest part is what happens after you write the book. Like the marketing is harder than writing the book, so get the book written because that's going to be the easiest part of the process. You can figure all the rest out later. Do the easy part first. Write your book. then you can edit it 6 days from Sunday. It doesn't have to be perfect. That first draft is supposed to be a dumpster fire. If you think of writing like someone doing a marble sculpture, the first time they chisel at it, it doesn't look like the finished product. They have to go in and get different tools and fine it and shape it and get all those things. And it takes a long time. So the more you sit there and think, oh, I can't do it, you're not. But if you're like, hey, let me try, let me write a sentence, let me write 3 sentences, let me write a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, a page. I try to write like 1,000 words. That's like 1,000, 1,500 words. It's kind of like a chapter for me because I write short chapters. So that's my goal whenever I sit down to write. Can I get a chapter done? Like that's all I want. And if you can just think of it as one chapter at a time, before you know it, you will have that book. And then you can move on to the hard stuff.
Okay. Okay. Victoria, it's been lovely chatting with you this evening. So your new book, Property of Kevlar, is out, is available. When is the next book in the series? When do you think it's coming? Or when do you know it's coming out? Not think.
So Under Kids Protection is coming out October 24th, I believe. It's the 23rd or the 20th. No. um, It's in October, 27th. So I was
Okay.
close. So October 27th, it comes out, and that's going to be so Kevlar's younger brother, Kid, is who that's going to be about. He's the vice president, and it's going to kind of pick up right where Property of Kevlar left off. So at the end of that, Kid has taken someone under his wing, and we find out why in Under Kids Protection, and it's a little bit less on the page dark. There's not as much darkness happening. It's more of the fallout of the darkness that we witness at the end of Property of Kevlar and how we kind of deal with that. And I think that's kind of missing in a lot of dark romance is that bad stuff happens to these people, like really bad things, which is why our content warnings are long, but we never actually see how these people process that like real people do. And Under Kids Protection is a character processing the horrendous thing that happened to her with Kid there, like how he helps her process that and what happens afterward.
Okay. Okay. So best of luck with Property of Kevlar and kids book coming out October 27th.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you.